Talking with Quincy University head coach Josh Rabe, former major leaguer, of course, with the Minnesota Twins. And Josh, first of all, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
And, anybody who follows baseball knows, especially in the collegiate and high school ranks, the amateur draft is coming up. What was it like for you in 2000 when you were drafted in the 11th round by the Minnesota Twins? What was that feeling of anticipation like?
It was interesting because, the internet was still dial-up then, and, there was no internet tracker, and MLB Network was non-existent. No one even thought about that. So, you just waited by the phone. And, I remember Coach Atwell calling me and said, hey, they're in the 4th round right now, and he had some contact with a scout, and said they're in the 4th round. He's like, all right, because I got told I would be drafted between rounds 5 and 13. And he's like, so, yeah, make sure you're on your phone. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting by it. So it's, I was in a situation where I knew I was going to get drafted. I didn't know where or what round, but I knew I was. And, yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking to finally get it out of the way, but, it was an interesting day.
Yeah, and I know, of course, leading up to that, you have the scouts who are watching, and they're in the stands up there, and you're well aware of who they are and what teams they represent, too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Half of them on their way out handed you, if they seen you for the first time, they hand you an envelope that you had to fill out, a questionnaire, because then when you fill out the questionnaire, they assign you a draft number, because you don't fill that out, you can't get drafted because you don't have a draft number. But, back in those days, nothing was by email. You had to physically put it in the mailbox, and our kids probably don't know what that is right now. But, you had to do that, and it was a good process. Yeah, scouts call me, and, their first question is any type of problems or anything like that, because, it's entertainment business now. They don't want to pay, someone that, they can't trust. It's just like any employer. It's kind of funny saying that. You're talking about a game, but, it is a job.
High school kids getting drafted, what are your thoughts on that kind of thing?
It's tough. It's really tough with high school kids because, they get drafted, and a lot of them had never spent any time away from home, and all of a sudden, you give mom a hug and a kiss goodbye, and it's off to the real world, and it's not flowers and roses, and candy. It's a tough place to kind of grow up, I guess you could say. You're at a place with 50 to 75 other guys from different nationalities, different backgrounds, speak different languages. It's tough. It's tough.
It's like joining the service, I guess,
Yeah.
But it's a little different.
Without the guns getting shot at.
Yeah, so. A little more fun. You got a bat in your hand instead, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, for you, you make the major leagues in 2006. What was more impressive? What was more thrilling for you, being drafted or being called up by the Twins?
Make it to the big leagues. I'll be honest with you, my first summer I hit 221. I was like, I came home, I told my dad, I said, man, if I could just make it to Double-A, I think it'd be a good career.
Yeah, well.
Then all of a sudden 2 years later I'm in Triple-A. I'm like, oh man, I guess I got to set a new goal here. But no, it's definitely the big leagues. When you get drafted, I think a lot of kids now, their big thing is they want to get drafted. They want to say they play pro ball. And for myself, I wanted to play in the major leagues. And I think that's a big thing, that kind of gets lost in translation here. Oh, I want to get drafted, I want to play pro ball, but man, there's only been about 16,000 people in the world that have played in the major leagues. I want to be one of those guys, and
sure.
I think if a kid goes into it, big picture, you want to try to play in the major leagues, man. Tom Kelly always said it. Many are called, few are chosen. It's kind of a humbling speech at the end of spring training he'd always give, as we were about to embark on our minor league seasons. He's like, be the ones that are chosen. But it's true. It's a definitely different mindset.
Yeah.
I tell all of our kids that come here, and even getting to talk to a scout, I'm like, listen, fellas, if you get a chance, you need to go. I don't care how old you are, because it's a dream. It's a dream to go off and try to carve your niche in professional baseball and try to make your way on a major league roster. That's the ultimate dream. Everybody had that. When whoever's picked up a bat or a ball in their life, and then swung a bat, it doesn't matter the era or what your age. Everybody wanted to play in the big leagues, whether pitch or hit or whatnot. And if you get that chance to do it, I just tell our kids, you need to go.
Yeah,
go.
I agree with you 100%. And I can personally attest to the fact that I've only had one major leaguer ever break out my back window of my car.
Man, that was like 20 years ago, big dog. You're never going to let me live that
No,
down.
I'm not. But, that's the way it is. You do things like that, you have to pay for it. You know that.
Exactly. And I'm still paying for it.
No, you're not.
Oh, man.
Josh, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
Josh Rabe with us, head coach, Quincy University.